Hey YouTube, Muchismo Eugene, another video from Exit Strategy. Welcome. Got a question. Am I wrong for eating ice cream while I'm doing a video? If I am, comment. I was going to wait until after the video, but it's getting late. So if you guys got a bowl of ice cream or some ice cream, grab some and just sit along with me and let's talk a little bit. I want to discuss how it is, and I got my mic in my hand. Sorry guys, it's just some living the dream, I guess. I'm gonna talk about why it is so complicated, or why it's so dicey. Why does the empath distrust relationships after narcissistic abuse? And I'm speaking in reference to my thought process, and hopefully if anyone else thinks like this, I want to give some clarity to why I believe I think the way that I do, and I'm apprehensive in relationships. Why do empaths who have been abused post-awakening, why do empaths hesitate in relationships or hesitate to date? And I think it's because after awakening, you begin, obviously, your perception, it accelerates. It gets very, very keen. Your intuition, it's overload. And you approach everyone with this newfound awareness. And you see most often a lot of narcissism in mostly everyone you meet. It's a common thing. If a person is going on and on and on about some accomplishments, we will readily probably conclude, or not conclude, but gather some intel based on just cues of what they're demonstrating. And we are opinionated. We will form in our own mind, without saying it to anyone else, we will probably cease and desist if there's an interest in that particular person, be it a romantic, a possibility of a romantic interaction, or even shooting our shot. Speaking of myself specifically, I am very apprehensive when it comes to even a person or a girl I'm probably interested in. I will show my interest. I'll probably say, hey, you're a beautiful girl, or this and that. Just generalization of me showing an interest. Or I do that even if I'm not interested in a girl. But that would be one of the things that I would do, just like a nonchalant general shooting my shot. And letting them know that, hey, I see something in you. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. Or you're an interesting individual. So thereby, once I do that, if I do that in times past here, in most recent, if I've done it, I soon cease and desist, because there are so many things. You say red flags. I say just so many cues that I believe that I don't want no part of. And I thought I'd come on and talk about this because even as empaths, it is hard, if not nearly impossible, I believe, for two empaths that are much healed and beyond the abuse phase, that are very much resonating very high. They've gotten these wounds pretty much under wraps, and they're continually working on themselves, because this is not a once and done thing. When you awaken from this abuse, you have to continually throughout life, because when you run into people, they're gaslighting you, they're doing these type of things, they're triangulating you. I run into those type of situations on a regular. Just the other week, I had some individual try to triangulate me by saying, what are you looking at? And it was a female, and she was with the boyfriend. And I thought about that. I say, wow. And they worked at a store, corner store, whatnot. And I was like saying to myself right away in my mind, being awakened now, that could have ended up being a very, very dicey situation because her boyfriend looked to see who she was talking to, and he looked in my direction. And whether she was kidding or not, I don't know, don't really care. And because I casually glanced around in the store because there was a lot going on, a lot of people coming in and out, and because I'm vigilant, I just casually look around just to be looking around. That's my right. That's anyone's right. But for someone to draw off of that and call you out, like, what are you looking at? Or what are you looking at me like that for? What are you looking at me like that for? Something to that degree. But she drew emphasis on me looking at her or in her direction. And I thought about that. That could have really, really ended up in a triangulation situation. And I now conclude it's conclusive enough for me that this individual, in her immature mentality, hasn't counted the cost of what that interaction could have been. That could have ended up having me having to fend for myself, defend myself needlessly because I believe her being disordered tried to create a triangulation issue. Whereas, getting her man to fight for her or call me out and start some conflict. And at my age, you wouldn't think that someone would have the propensity to do that. But we know narcissists, they don't ever age out. They are 5 years old or less when they become disordered. Sorry, guys. The gimbal again. Here we go. They're 5 years old from the time that they're disordered until the time that they are put in the grave. They will never mature to the capacity that it will matter in a good way for them. They will always be destructive. They will always have a mentality where they'll take their ball and go home when they're not picked for the team or the pickup game. They would snatch their doll from the little girl and, just snatch it impulsively and with no reasoning. These are analogies of what little kids do, and this is how a narcissist behaves. So back to what I'm saying, these apprehensions that I have, getting away from the triangulation incident that didn't happen, could have happened. I perceive these things in some people, a lot of people, on many occasions. So I'm in essence, I'm just hesitant for a lot of reasons, and maybe I'm still yet a lot of healing is still yet to be done in respects of me gaining that trust. But I don't even believe it's that. I think it's just me really paying attention to what's going on around me, and I'm okay with however long it takes for me to really pay attention and see if there's anyone that crosses my path or God sends into my life or in my path that resonates with me in a beautiful way. And there have been content creators that I've had interest in, and to which a couple of them, I believe, are subscribed to my channel. I make no bones about that. I won't put their name in particular out there because that doesn't matter. But that's a beautiful thing. I would like to know if there is empaths on here who are content creators that have found love with another content creator of a like mind, and has a similar journey that they've been on, and are healing together, growing together, and just enjoying life. That would be a wonderful thing to know. If there's anyone out there that has, I'd like to know. I have a good friend that has really found someone, or they found each other. I don't know if both of them are content creators, but I think it's subscriber content creator type thing. But it seems like it works, and I'm so happy for them. And there's also, well, I can say this is no secret. I believe Dave from Narcology Unscripted. I remember when he first started in his humble beginnings, and he's a stellar guy. Dave, Narcology Unscripted. I believe he's married again. He found love, and his wife, I want to believe they have a channel. I've gone over and checked out that channel where she interviews people that have come out of witchcraft and different things like that, and they have testimonies. So that's a delight to check him out over there. But other than that, I don't know anybody that really has done the thing I just mentioned. But that is what I aspire at some point or another. I would hope it would have to be someone that's awake. It would have to be an empath that's awoke from this, this detrimental disorder that it erodes a person's state of mind from the inside out if they've had long periods of cohabitation with these people. Say if it's in a family dynamic upbringing. My heart goes out to some of you guys that have been brought up in a narcissistic home where they was just relentless and just trying to destroy your self-esteem and different things like that. I don't recollect or recall any of that happening in my family, although I have in the last 4 years had to do some kind of mental soul searching to see and determine if in fact there is a strong amount of narcissist personality disorder in my family. And because I live in upstate New York and my family are all in a different state where I grew up at, I'm not around them all the time anymore. So not being in the same city or town, I can't readily research, if you will, or observe these things in in a real way. But in my direct family, I'm actually always constantly thinking whether, and it has to be somewhere in there, because I wouldn't think I was an what do you call it, scapegoat. But I do believe that there were, well, when I think about it, my uncles, a few of them, which are all deceased now, were malignant narcissists. I noticed they were alcoholic drunks. One was a Freemason, just as much as my father was a Freemason, a very high-ranking Freemason, and they were malignant. Despite this one uncle, despised all of us children, my father's children. Me, my brother, God bless the dead, he was murdered in '06, my brother, which was named after my father. I'm the first child, but he named his second son after his name. That's how, he was either high or drunk every time one of us was born. So maybe he forgot and meant to name me his name, and I'm just happy. I'm named what I'm named. And so the thing is, I think my uncles, without a doubt, were malignant, 2 of them. The other one, he pulled a gun on me and tried to force me out of the barbershop the night before my wedding. I went back home to get married back home to my first wife. She did the liberty of bringing the wedding back home because financially my family wasn't able to make that trip. So she actually, and none of her family came, but she did it in Alabama to pay homage to me. And I was appreciative to that. And I was a drunk. I was straight alcoholic even before we got married. And so he forced me to leave the barbershop, my other uncle's barbershop, in the middle of the night. Came over with what looked like a .45 Magnum, long barrel gun, pistol, and just drunk and belligerent, saying, "What are you doing over here?" I was like, Unks told me I could come in. He gave me the key and everything. He said, "No, you need to leave." And just this out-of-body wicked demon in his mind when he was drunk, and came over there and told me to just get out. And one mind said, just punch him as hard as I can, simply because of the fact he brandished a gun and trying to threaten me. And that happened to me once before in my life with an individual when I was much younger. And true story, I ended up punching him in his car. He drove me home, and when we got home, something ensued. I don't even remember. Both of us had been drinking, so either way, I punched him. I actually managed to snatch the gun away from him, and I just proceeded to just punch him and punch him and punch him, and got out of his car and went in the house with his gun and went to sleep. And I kept that gun for a long time, and he never came to my house trying to get it. And I think I beat him pretty bad. But I'm looking back at this. This is what alcohol does. It makes you do things, and you wake up the next day, you don't really know what you've done to someone. You don't really have a clue. You don't really have a good idea. Someone has to tell you what you've done. That's when you're bad. But that's off topic. I was just talking about the uncles that I believe in my family, you know, are narcissists, but they're deceased. And I now know, I believe I got an aunt or two that are very much probably narcissists. So that would suggest which one who was the narcissist in my grandparents. And so this takes a lot of mental soul searching, to which I haven't I haven't attributed a whole lot of energy to it, because many of these people I'm talking about are older. But as things develop in my life, and I have what you call this recall here and there about coming up in life, and then I kind of cut and paste those things with experiences that I've lived up until this point in my adulthood. You do a contrast and comparison and say, well, this looks familiar. This looks similar to what was done to me when I was a child. This is how I was antagonized by my uncle or my aunt or my sister or my brother or my mother or my father. And so back to point, I think as an empath, we really do have that hesitancy once we're awake, really awake and aware of what narcissists are, and we see them on a regular basis. We want a companion. Who wants to die alone? Nobody in their right mind doesn't want to be with someone, a companion. That's God's given liberty that he's afforded everyone. I don't want to say love to have a love story. That's not. Love is something I think has to be watered. You have to water it like a flower. You can't just fall for somebody and expect that to be an instantaneous for the long haul. It doesn't work that way, I don't think. Because when you get to know each other and you find that you and them have differences and you have quirks, you have drawbacks, you have hang-ups and annoyances, then you have to really dig deep and say, well, is this that big of a deal? Can I just accept this person for who they are in light of these things? Can I mention this to them and see if we can kind of work some kind of resolution out? If he snores, can I work around that? Is he a decent enough man, or is she a decent enough woman? Whereas, she may be a little bit overweight, out of shape, may not have the curves that most women typically a man would aspire to be with. Is that something you can look past because she has a solid character, she has integrity, she has raised and had 3 or 4 kids? Is this something we can look past because she's a human being at the end of the day, not feeling sorry for them at the same time? So, if that is what everyone or most of us are in search of, being that we are vigilant and we are highly aware of what's going on by way of narcissists, and they're on the hunt. And so to end all of this, I'm just saying it's better to be hesitant, because if that one gets away that you potentially think you could have had or should have had, I just believe if it's in the cards, you will have what you're supposed to have. What you don't have, you're not supposed to have. You'll get what you're supposed to have. And being involved with a narcissist, I want to believe even in that instance, we got what we're supposed to get, because we got that knowledge, we got the insight, and God allowed us to be awakened and get distance between us and that situation. We exited that like a boss. So that's just my take on it. If anyone else feels this way, because wanting and desiring this person or that person, then you become hesitant and you begin to see certain cues and you begin to back away. I want to know if you guys find that this has been the case with you. Next time, I think I want to make a video about, and I think, well, I don't have to make one. I'll just end it with this. I believe the abuse and the way the narcissist tries to diminish and discredits us and pokes at our shortcomings. And if we confide in them when we meet them and we give them our whole story, we're brutally honest, they tend to use these things against us when the going get tough. Like me, I've told a lot of women in past, I've been to prison, I've done some time for stupid things. That is the thing that most, if not all of them, try to use. But to the degree that they see that it doesn't hold any water with me, it doesn't cause me to get irate, it doesn't cause me to get unhinged. Although to hear somebody throw something up that you confided in them in transparency, it does rub you in a different kind of way. And that is like not even a low blow, it's like a childish thing. And so when this happens, obviously you go on and become awakened from this person who ends up being a narcissist. Now you have to deal with, next time, do I hold back most of who I am, most of my past, all of my past? Or do I just kind of let this person give me all of their truth and don't share anything? So it's dicey. It gets to be touch and go. But I just think being authentic and just putting your foot on the brake and not being so eager to share with another person, allowing them to show you their true colors. And I believe in no time at all, most narcissists will show their colors very soon. And they also have intuition when you're awakened. They know that you are awake. And I'll talk about that in another video. That being said, bless.